Everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Okay, imagine a world where you never have to actually own a clunky, depreciating, physical object ever again. A world where you don't buy things, but instead you just subscribe to the amazing results those things provide. Well, we are living through a massive paradigm shift right now, moving from traditional ownership to a brilliantly efficient model known as Everything as a Service, or XaaS. By leveraging some incredible digital technologies, companies are completely rethinking how value is delivered, they're drastically reducing waste, and they're creating some wildly innovative business models in the process. It's an absolutely fascinating shift, and today we're going to explore exactly how it all works.
Here is our roadmap for today's incredible journey. First up, the end of ownership. Then, lighting as a service. From there, virtual and augmented reality, followed by transparent and ethical supply. And finally, wearing the sustainable future.
Okay, let's dive into this first section, the end of ownership and shifting to the circular economy. So, for generations, our economy has basically been stuck on a linear track, right? We take resources, we make a product, we use it, and then we just throw it away. But digitally empowered business models are finally driving a much-needed transition to a circular economy. The ultimate goal here is to narrow down the loops by using fewer resources, slow the loops by making products last longer, and close the loops by maximizing how often materials get reused. And the real secret to unlocking all of this? It's moving away from physical ownership and towards service-based models. To really wrap our heads around this transition, think about this thought-provoking question. Why buy a light bulb when all you want is light? Seriously, when you really think about it, you don't actually want the glass or the fragile filament or the cardboard packaging. You just want illumination in your room. If a company can guarantee that performance without you having to buy, maintain, or toss out the physical hardware, well, it completely transforms our relationship with resources. And this brilliantly illustrates the shift. Traditional ownership basically forces you to buy an asset, take on the entire burden of maintaining it, and then ultimately dispose of it, which generates massive amounts of waste. But everything as a service, it's beautifully efficient. You simply subscribe to a service, the providers focus entirely on delivering top-tier performance to you, and, here's the kicker, because they still own the physical asset, they are highly incentivized to repair, refurbish, and recycle it at the end of its life. You're buying the result, not the waste.
Let's look at a massive, real-world example of this. Section 2, Lighting as a Service, featuring Philips at Schiphol Airport.
When a major international hub like Schiphol Airport in Amsterdam decides it no longer wants to own its lighting infrastructure, it partners up with Philips for Light as a Service. By using this exact model, Schiphol didn't have to deal with the provision, the management, or the maintenance of their lighting anymore. They literally outsourced the whole shebang. And the tangible financial impact is just staggering. They achieved €50,000 in full savings at the end of their service contract. They saved on management time, human resources, and inventory expenses, all while drastically lowering their energy consumption.
Now, what's really interesting about this is how Philips lovingly takes responsibility for the afterlife of these materials, creating a perfect closed-loop ecosystem. When a light reaches the end of its cycle, Philips reuses and refurbishes it. If it absolutely can't be refurbished, they harvest the parts. And if the parts can't be used, they recycle the raw materials. The client gets to externalize the sustainability burden, and the provider, who has the exact expertise needed, flawlessly manages the flow of energy and materials. It's a total win-win.
Moving right along to Section 3, Virtual and Augmented Reality and Virtualizing the Physical World. So we've seen how physical products can become services, but clever digital layers can actually replace physical infrastructure entirely. Let's look at this waste-free, ultra-efficient virtual shopping experience. Tesco, Trigo Vision, and Retail VR teamed up to install digital shopping shelves in super busy public spaces, like subway stations in South Korea. Instead of building massive, energy-draining physical supermarkets, they just put up virtual displays. Step 1. A commuter scans the QR code of a product with their phone. Step 2. Boom! The order is instantly placed. Step 3. The groceries are delivered right to their home. Most of these orders happen during peak commute hours, perfectly fitting into the customer's day while drastically reducing the infrastructure footprint and inventory waste.
Now, beyond virtual shopping, we have Augmented Reality as a Service, or AR/AS. Let's define this futuristic concept really quick. It involves using immersive digital overlays to extend product life cycles and assist with physical tasks remotely. The absolute crucial takeaway here is that this technology gracefully saves perfectly good machinery from the scrap heap. By delivering expert knowledge digitally, we cut down on the consumption of energy and resources that would normally be wasted just sending broken products back and forth to repair shops. Let's see how this actually works out in the field. A California-based firm called DAQRI designed an augmented reality smart helmet specifically for waste management. It uses multiple cameras and thermal imaging to project data visualizations right before the user's eyes, making the manual sorting of useful materials from waste piles an absolute breeze. Or take Scope, a Canadian firm that provides immersive 3D smart instructions that overlay the physical world. This tech allows non-experts to safely mount, repair, and disassemble really complex machinery. It brings remote technical assistance right to the field virtually, totally eliminating unnecessary travel emissions.
All right, Section 4, transparent and ethical supply, and the need for a trust machine.
Here's the thing. If everything is interconnected and digitally delivered as a service globally, how do we actually trust the system? We need airtight accountability to track exactly where our materials come from and where they end up. That brings us to blockchain-based trust machines across different industries that ensure total transparency. Let's move to see how this builds out. Circularise tracks supply chains and carbon footprints, which is famously used by Porsche. EverLedger provides traceability for high-value goods to guarantee ethical conflict-free diamond sourcing, used by retailers like Rare Carat. And then we have Tracker, which is utilized by the De Beers Group to safely tag and track diamonds all the way from the mine down to the buyer. By using the blockchain, companies are basically forced to be transparent about their environmental and social impacts.
And that brings us to our delightful finale, Section 5, Wearing the Sustainable Future, where fashion finally meets the circular economy.
Let's look at an industry that notoriously struggles with pollution, the fashion industry. Because we can now better track supply chains and process materials efficiently as a service, innovators are developing some incredibly sustainable biofabricated textiles. I mean, get this. We have Piñatex, which is literally a leather textile crafted entirely from pineapple leaves. And we have Orange Fiber, made from cellulose extracted from leftover citrus juice. It's just the ultimate harmonious integration of tech, nature, and the circular economy. We are taking agricultural waste and magically turning into the input for high fashion. How cool is that?
We've covered some truly incredible ground today, from intelligent airport lighting that reuses its own parts, to subway supermarkets, to blockchain-tracked diamonds, and yes, even pineapple leather. The transition to everything as a service empowers us to drastically reduce waste while simultaneously boosting performance. It really challenges us to rethink our entire relationship with the physical world. So I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought to ponder. In a world where everything is becoming a service and physical ownership is becoming a thing of the past, what will you subscribe to next? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and as always, stay curious.